and out to the ticketing counter and have the ticketing counter recheck your bag.
Oh my God.
So she's putting on her goggles and a bowler hat. She checks her pocket watch, adjusts her rocket and back. She laces up her boots and puts her makeup on. She grabs her leather coat and her Tesla gun. But she used to be a gawker, now
Hello there, I'm Gail Carriger.
And I'm Piper J. Drake.
And you're listening to 20-Minute Delay.
A podcast about travel.
Because travel never goes how you expect.
And sometimes neither does my computer. Today, we'll be talking about Hellmouth airports.
Oh, yes. Oh, these are the worst. But first, where have you been this week, Piper?
Well, I actually had a day job biz trip, and I was on the East Coast, actually in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, this is exciting because guess where I was recently? I was also in New Jersey.
Hey now, New Jersey. So why were you in New Jersey?
I was in New Jersey to go to the Steampunk World's Fair. For those of you
I haven't been in forever.
Oh, it's great. It's really, really great. So for those of you who don't know what the reason I travel so much is that I'm a full-time author and I tend to do a lot of conventions. I grew up on the convention circuit and I just happen to really love science fiction and fantasy conventions. I also love writers' conferences. So obviously I like to talk, so I like to be on panels and do that kind of thing. So I travel quite a bit for that. In fact, that's mostly why I do travel. So I was up in New Jersey for the Steampunk World's Fair. This is my second time visiting, and I had a wonderful time. Really good time. So that's where I was. I was in New Jersey ostensibly for business, but really for pleasure. So what about you? Anything exciting happen? Any travel whammies to report or any travel successes?
Well, one of the interesting things about my travel is that I am an author, but I also carry on a parallel career that I refer to as the day job. And I travel about 50 to 85% of the time for my day job as a consultant. So I go all over the country and sometimes internationally. So in this particular case, I was traveling for the day job in Princeton. So I was staying in, business hotels. My form of dress was much different than I would have been at Steampunk World Fair. There were no corsets involved, unfortunately.
So what was your airport?
I flew into Philadelphia. I could have flown into Newark, but honestly, Newark is not my favorite airport. It is a Hellmouth airport for me.
Oh, man. I flew into Newark.
So I go through Philly.
Yeah, I flew into Newark. The convention very kindly flew me in, but Newark is an old airport. And it seems to be a little long in the tooth and feeling its age a bit, I must say.
It is. And honestly, it's under construction in a lot of the terminals. So it depends on which terminal you go to.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the other things that drives me kind of crazy about it is you have to go outside of security to get from terminal to terminal sometimes. And if you're traveling internationally through Newark, sometimes you can get really jacked up because sometimes they have you pick up your checked luggage if you're passing through Newark, coming back into the country and headed someplace else in the country. So you have to pick up your checked bag at customs and you have to get it rechecked back onto your airline. And sometimes sometimes their station for that is unavailable or the computers are down. So they tell you to take it with you to the terminal and out to the ticketing counter and have the ticketing counter recheck your bag.
Oh my God. Oh,
Which is on a completely different floor.
Yeah. I remember having to do that once in Canada. I've had to do that a couple times on international airports, like super small airports in places like Hungary or something. But it's not typical, and it is really such a pain. So you chose Philly instead then. So why? Is there any other particular reason you like that airport?
Honestly, Philly, I like it better because all the terminals are connected behind security. So if you want to go visit another terminal, let's say if you're military and you want to get to the USO is behind TSA, which is nice. You don't have to worry about security to get through, and you can go travel to that. If you're like me and you happen to have enough frequent flyer miles or what have you to get into the business lounges, you can make your choice of business lounges. I also have a tendency to know where the express spot is in case I'm having a muscle spasm or have a long connection. And also all the various food choices across the different terminals. Or even if you're just someone who's looking to get your steps in on your Fitbit.
Yeah.
And just need to walk up and down the terminals, Philly's just a much better walk. And honestly, it's kind of a nightmare for connecting flights because it can be that far. But it is, you have the ability to go up and down and walk and see things. Or if you're a Pokemon Go player, you can get, from Pokestop to Pokestop. So it's overall the layout makes it so that you can walk and stretch your legs and not feel cramped.
Do you have a pilgrimage that you go to, like a particular spot you always want to hit, or a place where you can get the snacks or the food that you want at Philly? Is there a target once you hit the ground when you have some time to burn?
Oh, definitely. For example, like if I'm having a muscle spasm, sometimes it's not about luxury. It's about like making sure that I can actually turn my head or, stand up straight if my back is spazzing. So
I'm blaming your backpack.
It's not the backpack. But I do go to the express spot and get a quick chair massage. It's at this point in time with the prices of massages out there, it's fairly comparable. And they know me now.
Oh.
I'm enough of a frequent flyer that comes through that they know me now. And sometimes they give me like bonuses or discounts, which is really cute. So I get a chair massage there usually. And I also stop at the Vino Volo there.
Oh, what's
on
that?
my way through. So Vino Volo is a chain for wine and little snackies and tapas. All right. You're not going there for a heavy meal, but I usually get a refreshing wine flight of some sort. And they have a rewards program so that if you reach a certain level of rewards program, which doesn't take long, it maybe takes 2 or 3 visits, then you get a free l'amuse-bouche snack.
Ooh, little snack.
And they also usually have a featured wine of the day that you can have a tasting for just $1 or $2.
Wow. That's cool.
So you could just have that glass of wine, or you could go through a wine flight like I do. And that's just like a nice way to wind down after having been on client site and then come straight to the airport.
Yeah.
Stop at Vino Volo. They have better Wi-Fi than the airport Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
And
nice
they have outlets next to every table.
Nice.
So
well,
I plug in, charge everything, and have a glass of wine.
This is interesting because one of the things, so I have weird hard and fast rules that I follow when I'm actually flying or about to fly. And one of my hard and fast rules is I never drink. I never drink before a flight, and I never drink on a flight. I also try really, really hard, unless I'm starving, not to eat any sugar. So, and for me, those are just sort of correlated because I just find alcohol dehydrates me so badly, and I am just terrible about remembering to drink water when I'm flying. I'm really, really bad about it. I never remember to drink water ever, period. I'm chronically dehydrated. And so alcohol does not help with that.
That is true.
But still, I really like that tip, man. However, if I were stuck in Philly waiting for a pickup for some reason, so I was on the ground already, Then you would think about the why. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that you have a good point there about the dehydration. One of the habits that I have is I have a tendency to have sparkling water or a water bottle with me. And I try to remember to at least sip and get through it. If I'm lucky enough to get an upgrade to first class, then I'm always getting the sparkling water.
Yeah,
I don't order soda and I don't order alcohol while I'm in flight just because, all the nope in the world. But yeah, the dehydration thing is definitely a problem. So, I mean, that's a good thing to remember. But I think that the Vino Volo thing is a good trick.
It is a good trick. And that's also a really good tip for flight. If most airlines supply an unsweetened fizzy water, whether they call it soda water or mineral water or...
Yeah. And sometimes tonic water, supposedly with the quinine, it's theoretically supposed to help you if you tend towards muscle cramps. I don't know about that.
It usually is pretty sweet,
I'll toss that out there.
Tonic water. But
I'm not crazy about the taste, but I like club soda, and I love just sparkling water, club soda, that's fine.
And they work, frankly, just as well as ginger ale to settle your tummy because, the ginger ale that airlines usually have is pretty cheap stuff. So you're going after that carbonation. So it is a great option of the thing to get from the drinks trolley when it goes by. So anything else about Philly before we move on to our main topic?
I will say that Philly has a Geno's in the main terminal now. A Geno's.
What's that?
For cheesesteaks.
Geno's
cheesesteak. So for the people who are like, in transit and don't have time to actually go into the city for their favorite cheesesteak of choice, and I have my own favorites, that can be a different topic for a different time. There is a Geno's. There's also a Tony's over in F terminal. So the two different terminals have two different very popular cheesesteak stops. So if you are traveling back through Philly and you do not have the option to initiate the burrito protocol, a cheesesteak will do you. Yeah. Just make sure to wrap that thing and have them double wrap it because it can get messy.
Yeah, airports are totally used to that. Whenever you're at any kind of food dispensary in an airport, you can ask them to double wrap or double bag because people are taking that on flight. And you always want that extra bag, that extra wrapper.
Extra help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep things nice and clean. Although we've all got our wet ones singles with us,
we
right?
do the wet ones with us, right? Or baby wipes. I know that those are an option, but they don't dry out your skin as much, but they're not as antibacterial.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan because I personally don't really like the smell. But anyway, let's move on to our main topic of the day, which is a really good one. So, Piper, you want to tell us what it is?
Hellmouth airports.
Yes.
Those airports that suck you in and all the bad things happen.
I am a great believer in the fact that if you are a frequent flyer in particular, although if you're a frequent traveler of any time, I bet this happens, and that is that there's always one hub airport which you end up flying through whether you like it or not, and that airport just wants to keep you. It wants to keep you in the worst way. It wants to ground you or trap you or delay you or steal your luggage from you. Yes. So Piper and I both have our Hellmouth airports, and I'm going to start us off. Mine happens to be Denver. So I know. So I am West Coast based, and I tend to fly out of a smaller local airport, Oakland Airport, because I'm in the East Bay in the San Francisco Bay Area. And Oakland Airport is a Southwest hub, and so that means it goes to some very specific other hubs, and one of those is Denver. If I'm lucky, sometimes I can get on an American or something similar, and that'll take me through Salt Lake City, which is the opposite for me of a Hellmouth airport. I've never had any problems with Salt Lake. I'm often delayed getting into it, but I know how to run that airport fast and catch my next flight. And I've never actually, knock on wood, missed a flight through Salt Lake. So I love Salt Lake. However, Denver, man. Denver just always wants to keep me. I don't know what it is. It's a difficult airport because it's got those shortened runways. It's so high up that gives it a problem. It has some weather issues sometimes and some wind issues. I love Denver, the city itself. I actually don't mind being stuck there if I know I'm going to be stuck there because I have lots of friends in the area. I can always go, hang out for an evening and stay on someone's couch. But it just seems to want to keep me in that way that airports do where it's your flight's delayed for a half an hour and then your flight's delayed for an hour and then your flight's delayed for another 20 minutes. And you're just like, just tell me what's going on. If it's canceled, cancel it. And let's move on with this production. Denver has those tornado shelters underneath the airport, and I'm convinced they actually are the stairways to the Hellmouth, which is underneath Denver. I flew a Frontier flight through Denver once. We're not gonna talk about that. And Frontier is
at least not in this episode. We may need to bring that up later. Future episode.
So of course, it was a Frontier flight. It was delayed. We missed our connectors. The whole flight was just royally roiled. And so the whole flight was in line at customer service to try and figure out how to get the next flight. And of course, all of Denver's computer system went down.
Oh, no.
So that's one of my charming Denver stories. So Denver, that's my Hellmouth airport. I love the city of Denver, but that airport. On the bright side, I have been stuck at Denver Airport so much now that I know all the best places to eat and hang out and where all of the charging stations are. There's actually a second, so a lot of their food is on sort of upstairs on a little second story landing kind of thing, and a lot of the different terminals.
I've been there for that.
Yeah. And one of those places is what seems to be a sort of Panera style sandwich shop kind of thing. But man, they have a couple of things I love. And the first thing is a really good egg salad. We've talked about our love of eggs before.
Yes,
and
we do love eggs.
My mother was British. I was raised on egg salad sandwiches with the crusts cut
Yum.
off. And man, I love a good egg salad sandwich. To top it off, they have a really delicious bread that has jalapeno peppers and cheese baked into the bread, so you can get that with your sandwich. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty near perfect. It's real messy. It's really something that I would struggle to have on the plane with me. But it's great when I'm stuck at the airport, which I am a lot. So that's my Hellmouth Airport. How about you, Piper? What's your Hellmouth?
Chicago.
Oh, O'Hare. Are we talking O'Hare?
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking
O'Hare.
I think that's a lot of people's.
Oh gosh, it is a lot of people. And it got to the point where canceled flights, like not even just delayed. Okay, fine, we're delayed. Let's sit here. Let's go find someplace to eat. Let's try to figure out. There's that popcorn place. In particular, there's a sushi place at the top of one of the terminals that has become quite nice.
Wait.
A little bit on the price side.
Tell me more, because one of my things at Chicago Airport is I can never find something to eat there. Never.
So this sushi place is a little on the pricey side.
Yeah, but
on the pricey side.
And we have an issue, which is again another one of my isms, which is I really don't eat sushi in a landlocked state. And an airport seems to me pushing it even more.
I will tell you this, like I was hesitant the first couple of times, so I ordered the vegetable hand rolls.
Oh, that's the key.
Because those are light. And obviously you don't have to worry about questionable fish and then flying.
Nice. And you get,
right?
They come with a little tofu in there or something to give you some protein?
Usually a little roll of egg. They do the tamago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm quite happy with that. Like little light sweet omelet. Yes, I can do that. So they had the vegetable hand rolls. And because I saw the fish laid out in their little sushi bar and the fish was actually looking quite fresh, I risked the tuna, because usually the tuna is the safest you can go with. Like you don't go for the machi the first time around. That's not the best idea in the world. But I did try their seared tuna. So that they did a roll where it kissed the pan twice on either side.
Perfect.
It was still very nice and rare in the middle, but it was seared on the outside. And so they had a nice seared tuna roll that I was very happy to try. So I got that protein that way, and I wasn't quite risking the whole, because I love me some wonderful sashimi. I do. I love my fish raw. Absolutely. But at an airport, proceed with caution.
Yeah. It's like a hotel. You got to be wary of a hotel sushi place as well, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
But we will, don't you worry, guys. We're going to talk about hotels in the not too distant future.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
So what is it about O'Hare you think that makes it want to keep you forever?
Well, it's not just that. When they move gates, you're not just going one or two gates over. You're running, you're jumping on one of those little speed tracks to give you a speed boost, like you're playing Mario Kart, to try to get over to that gate and try to get on that flight. And it's like, it's forever down there. It's a huge sprint. It's at least a 5-minute. If you're walking, it's 10.
And
sometimes you have to go through that rainbow corridor, the underground rainbow corridor.
Yeah.
I've actually had to traverse that 3 times because of gate changes.
Oh,
and why does that even make sense?
No.
It doesn't.
Then there's the thing about Chicago, and I remember this from the very first time I was there as a little kid, is that it always seems to be so crowded to me. It's like the crowd controls are just not in place, or the layout is weird, so that the places that are not people mover places. So between gates at the ends of the terminal, for example, when there's lots of little shops and things, and people are lining up at the shops, and people are lining up to get on their flight, or they're streaming off their flight, and it just turns into this sort of traffic madness, which seems to me really endemic to O'Hare. And I do fly in and out of Hopkins as well pretty frequently, and it's bad, but it's not that bad by a long shot. So it can't just be Chicago.
Right. And now they do have some tough weather, and especially around the winter time.
Yeah.
So sheltering in place in the ladies' room has happened to me.
Oh God.
Because those are the tornado and bad weather like areas.
Yeah.
I have been delayed. I have had flights canceled and been staying there. I have to say there is one quiet, peaceful spot at Chicago O'Hare that's worth it to go to if you're trapped there for several hours or even overnight. And they have an urban garden.
Oh, really?
They actually have a hydroponic setup. Yeah. So you head towards the USO, and as you walk up the stairs to the USO, opposite it on the second floor is a hydroponics garden. And it's a little breath of fresh air, because sometimes that terminal can get crazy pants smelly because of all the people and the bodies.
That sounds really lovely. That sounds great.
Yeah. So that's like your moment of peace in the middle of the Hellmouth.
Yeah. Have you ever had to sleep overnight there in O'Hare?
I have not, but I've waited as long as 8 hours, which I could have slept.
Yeah.
You're right. I could have slept. Fortunately, Matthew J. Drake was with me, so we stayed in the USO at the time. Great. And the USO was inside. But it can get bad. Like you can get, I've gotten delayed there quite a few times, quite often, 2 hours, 4 hours. I've done it for business trip, for day job trips. I was on my way to a convention for a writers convention. I was on my way to RT Book Lovers convention in Kansas City from Chicago. And, so I was toting some heavy luggage, and my carry-on had 4 corsets in it.
Oh God.
Because I didn't want my checked bag to go overweight. So I was carrying my corsets in a backpack, a big oversized one of those awful Sasquatch backpacks that you hate.
That I hate.
I had my corsets in that to try to, offset the fact that my checked luggage was going to be heavy. And so I, of course, got stopped at TSA because they're like, what are you doing with this double reinforced steel in your bag? And it's like, well, they're corsets.
Oh, my gosh. I've never been stopped by corsetry. I travel with it. I always put my corsets in my carry-on because I invest in very expensive corsetry. And so I'm not trusting that to baggage handlers ever. To the point where, if they want to vanity check my carry-on, I will make them wait while I take out the corsets and put them in my tote. I'm like, nobody handles those but me. Like, I'm
Nobody
sorry,
touches those.
I need to extract my undergarments now.
Yes, foundation garments. Those are an investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are.
Anyway, we've derailed a little bit. So I think it's time for us to move on to our next segment. But first, I'm going to ask you guys in the audience, tell us about your Hellmouth airport. What's the airport that always wants to keep you? You just leave us a comment on our Facebook group or in the show notes or wherever. Hit us up on Twitters.
Let us know. It would be great to hear.
Yeah. Are you with Piper? I think a lot of people are with you on O'Hare. It's a rough airport to fly through. And so now on to our gadget pick. So Piper, do you have a gadget pick for today?
I kind of do. It's the fact that it's via my smartphone. So that's the gadget, but I'm actually talking about apps. And in particular, my airport apps have saved me on Hellmouth Airport incidents. And it's because I'm able to jump on the app even as gates are updating, because sometimes you just can't hear the announcement and you're like, what's going on with that announcement? Where did they just say we need to go? What was that? And everybody's crowded around the gate agent to ask them the question. And my app has updated to tell me where to go. So I do say.
Are you using a specific app called Airport, or are you using the airlines app as your?
The airlines app. So if I'm flying United, I download United. If I'm flying American, I download American. Yeah. I don't have to keep it on my smartphone all the time, but I keep it on for the flight, especially if I know I'm connecting.
Yeah, I do that
and
too.
And that just, it's a lifesaver, not to mention the fact that you can check right up to they start boarding. You can check the seating and maybe hop seats to try to find a seat that doesn't have anybody in the center side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done that too. United, you guys, if neither of us are United loyalists. In other words,
No, we are
don't
not.
travel on them frequently, but I end up pretty much having to travel on whatever airline I'm booked on for a convention. So I have had to fly United pretty frequently. And I will say that they are one of the cheaper upgrades. So if you jump on that app, even as you're waiting for your flight, sometimes you can knock out an upgrade to first class or something for $50. I know it's not insignificant to some people, but compared to the price of a first class ticket, that is
for your rest and your well-being, it's definitely sometimes worth it. Like sit there and especially if you get stuck on a red eye, let's say you get at a Hellmouth airport, if you get delayed long enough, you could be a red eye. Yep. Even if you hadn't originally scheduled it to, and you need to, with that delay, you may have to be at work the next day. You may have to be at your kid's presentation the next day. You have to be alive, right? So that upgrade might be worth it. Or that upgrade may be the only way you get on that flight rather than getting bumped.
That's so true too. Yeah. If you have a smartphone, I highly recommend getting the app for whatever airline you're going to fly on. I also use it to check into my flight. I keep my boarding pass and stuff on my phone, if at all possible. Not every airport lets you do that. Some of the super tiny baby airports are not equipped to handle phones, and they still make you print out once you get to the airport. But most of the time, I can travel without any additional paperwork. Everything is just on my phone, and I know I'm going to keep my phone on me and with me at all times, so I'm not misplacing that stupid boarding pass that's the wrong shape to fit into any pocket.
Exactly, without getting all crumpled up.
Yeah, it's just on my phone and all is good. And one of my hot tips for that is when you're in the airline's app and you get your boarding pass on your screen, take a screenshot of the boarding pass and the code.
So it doesn't have to upload.
Yeah, so that it stores in your phone's camera. And that's really faster and easier to access when you're actually boarding. Because sometimes the apps are a little janky and a little slow to perform. So yeah, get those apps. I couldn't be with you more. My gadget pick is a little bit different, so I'm totally with you on the apps, but I actually chose a little object for my gadget, which is the tiny tote. Mm-hmm. These tiny totes are just like the little tiny foldable nylon shopping totes that you might stash in your purse or in your back pocket when you're going out to the farmer's market or you're going shopping or whatever, and you think you might need an extra bag. I just always have one of those on me. And the reason I have it on me is because if I get stuck at something like a Hellmouth airport and I need to rest or take a nap or something, I can stuff the tote full of my jacket, and I usually have a scarf or something with me when I travel because I get cold real easy. Mm-hmm. And it makes a perfect little pillow. I can just roll it up and make it into like a little head pillow. Put my neck pillow in there as well if I've got that with me. And also because if I'm stuck at an airport, I'm often going to be going out, doing a little shopping, picking up a magazine, getting some extra snacks or something. And it's just really nice to have one of those totes with you, because if you have the right kind and shape of tote, then it can go over your shoulder rather than having to occupy a hand as like usually the shopping bags that they give you at the stores do. So, and they're so light and so small, I just tuck them into the outer pocket of a backpack, or in my case, the outer pocket of my regular underseat tote. And it's just always there. The other great thing about it is when you're flying and you kind of tend to expand in flight, especially if it's a red eye or an overnight, and you kind of have bits of stuff everywhere, and you don't necessarily have time once you land to shove everything back in the way you carefully packed it initially. If you have that tote with you, you can just whip it out and stick your jacket in there. And it's also really great if you're flying to a vacation spot where you're flying from a cold part of the world to a warm part of the world. So you're going on that flight with a jacket, and of course they tend to keep the flights pretty cold, but you're landing in a place like Hawaii and it's humid and hot, and if you have your little tote with you, you can just stuff all of your outerwear into there. So I recommend just grabbing one of those little babies and tucking it into your bag with you, and I find them endlessly useful.
I think that that's excellent. And I may try to do that. I may pick that up from you. Although I will tell you, in the name of gadgets, the funniest gadget I've ever seen at a Hellmouth airport, or at least for travelers who are obviously experiencing a hardcore Hellmouth travel whammy
incident.
People were, they had an inflatable bed.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
They had found themselves a spot in the airport. They tucked themselves under a staircase, and they were by a glass wall, which is how I could see them. And what the parents had done was they tucked themselves under the stairs, and the kids were playing on laptops plugged in under the stairs, and the parents were laying on an inflatable bed. And we're not talking about a twin size. We're talking about a full size inflatable bed. I don't know how they had it, but they had it with them.
I wonder
and
if
they were laying on it,
camping
just
or something.
sleeping there. They were in the airport.
That's crazy.
They were in the airport, inside security. I was kind of impressed because they'd made themselves a little cave with their kids, and the kids couldn't get by them out from under the stairs if they had fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Without waking them up because they disturbed the bed. You know, like, I was like, that's slick. The only thing
That's
is
impressive.
it's against a glass wall, so everybody walking by can see.
Well, there it is, but still, man, that I don't know if I would sacrifice that much weight in my luggage or how much effort to blow it up.
Yeah, it's like so heavy, and I was just like, wow, that's a full size air mattress bed.
Well, there are times when I have wished I've had an inflatable bed. I will say that much. That's for sure.
Yeah, but you know, that's like you said, it's a weight issue. When you're traveling light, an inflatable bed's one of the first things to go.
Yep. And on that note, those are our gadget picks for the week. Piper sold you on getting the native apps for the airline that you're going to be flying on, and I encourage you to think about getting one of those tiny foldable totes for your luggage. And that's it for this week's episode.
It is. Thanks to our producer, Matt, for putting together this podcast.
And thanks to the lovely John Anelio, who loaned us the music from his song, Steampunk Girl. Happy travels, everybody.
See you again soon.
Bye-bye.
So she's putting on the goggles and a bowler hat. She checks her pocket watch just to rock it back. She laces up her boots and puts her makeup on. She grabs her leather coat and a Tesla gun. She used to be a goth kid, but now she's a steampunk. She used to be a goth kid, but now she's a steampunk. She used to be a goth kid, but now she's a steampunk.